When's the last time you sat down and said, I'm going to intentionally upgrade the operating system that runs my life, that runs my thinking, right?
I think that I do it often because I consume professional
Yes.
development books and I listen to
Yes.
podcasts and I watch educational videos in my field. So
Hmm.
I think I'm upgrading often.
Yes.
Are there other ways to do it?
So that's a wonderful way, and that's like probably the dominant way to do it, right? We'll take it one step further, and I assume you do this as well, but there's also like these intentional practices. So it's more than just consuming the content, hearing it, but like then the application of, right? So the easiest example is to like come up with identify a disempowering belief, and then really do the work to swap out that belief with a new belief that you don't even believe yet, right? But you identify a belief that you want to have so that you can get new outcomes. And that's where the actual application and the work comes in, and that's where it gets really exciting. I mean, I love personal development too, obviously, and consume a lot of it, and it's fun to have those insights. It's thrilling though when we begin to apply and really produce new outcomes.
Hmm. So are you going to give us some tips?
Yeah, let's run your listeners through a way to begin to set up a new belief. It's a 5-step process, and I've studied with a lot of great people in this field, like Tony Robbins and David Bayer and Abraham Hicks, and just to name just a few, Bob Proctor. So my methodology is heavily influenced by them, and I put my own spin on it. But let's go through this 5-step process of identifying a disempowering belief and then setting up a new one that feels good. So one that a lot of people have, they'll have a disempowering belief around time. And one of the common beliefs that people have is there's not enough time. There's never enough time. I don't have enough time. Now, the thing about that is that belief doesn't feel good in the body. It doesn't feel good, does it?
Mm-mm.
And I've said it. I used to believe it. I was practiced at saying that and proclaiming it. God, there's never enough time. I can't do that. I don't have enough time as it is, right? So what we want to look at, the first thing is we want to ask this question: does the belief that you just said, does it feel good in the body?
Mm-mm.
And if the answer is no, then we're going to make a bold declaration. And we go to step 2, we're going to make this bold declaration. The bold declaration is, it must not be accurate. Now, that's a simple statement, but it's profound because we're now beginning to call into question this belief that we've felt so certain about. And by the way, a belief is simply a feeling of certainty. It doesn't mean it's accurate. So we call into question. In fact, we audaciously and boldly declare that belief must not be accurate. And then we go to step 3, and step 3 says, if it's not accurate, some form of the opposite is likely accurate. Now, this is where it gets really uncomfortable for people, because I have gone through my entire life believing and telling people there is not enough time. Okay. So now what I'm going to say, some form of the opposite of that is accurate. It feels weird in the body, but stay with me. And so in step 4, we say what the opposite of that is. Well, what's the opposite of there's not enough time?
There's plenty of time.
There's plenty of time. Oh my gosh. What a revelation, right? Now you and I may feel like you and I may already have that belief that there's plenty of time, but many of the people out in the world, they don't have that belief. There's not enough time, right? Always looking for more time. So for them, it might be like, whoa, that is incredible to consider that there's enough time. And now what I like to do is tweak that a little bit and say, there's always enough time for the things that are important to me. There's always enough time for the things that are important to me.
That is exactly correct. You know?
Right. It's more accurate, isn't it?
Hmm.
It's more accurate than the statement there's never enough time, because as intellectually, we can see like that doesn't even make sense, that there's not enough time. All there is time. All there
Hmm.
has been is time. All there will ever be is time,
And
right?
it really is the one commodity.
Yes, exactly. We all have the same amount of time in a day.
Hmm.
So we can see intellectually that old belief, it's not even intelligent, right? It doesn't make sense. So this new belief that we want to set up. Now, it's not a belief yet because it doesn't feel certain. It's a belief that we want to feel certain about. There's always enough time for the things that are important to me. Now we go to step 5, and this is where we actually begin to clinch it and to begin to set up some certainty about it. So what we do is we look to gather massive evidence to support this new belief. So how do we do that? Well, we look at everything in our world. Oh, do I always make time to pay my mortgage? Yeah, I do. Do I always make time to make my tea in the morning, even if I'm running behind? Yes, I do. Do I always make time to, well, in our household, we always make time to make the bed in the morning. Always make time for that. We always make time to, you name it, right? But what you can see what we're doing is we're gathering evidence and we're showing that, oh yeah, there's always enough time for the things that actually are important to me.
Mm-hmm.
And that feels good. And then, so now it's not a belief yet, but repetition is the mother of skill, right? And so this is why I have incantations or affirmations for every part of my life. And this is one of them. There's always enough time for the things that are important to me, right? So that I've said it so many times that it's actually impossible for me to go back to my old belief system. The old belief that I used to have, like there's not enough time, now looks like a joke. It's laughable. I can't actually feel certain about the old belief. My brain has been brainwashed, so to speak. It's been reprogrammed. And now the only belief about time that makes sense to me is like, oh yeah, there's always enough time for the things that are important to me.
Mm-hmm.
And that feels good.